I want it.
The year is almost to end. Next year is going to be 2025. As a freelancer, you must know how can you really leverage the time that you have and plan it out as 2025 is approaching. Now, this is a powerful thing that I would want if I'm going to be a freelancer, just a beginner, and then etc. so forth, and then go to 2025. What would I do is plan it out, have a goal and system in mind, and then you know what's your goals. Now, not 100% New Year's resolution, you would achieve them all, but the important here is when you create a goal, you know what direction are you heading to. If you know how can you plan out, how can you create goals, this doesn't just apply as a freelancer, but also if you're going to be a future business owner, a parent, or even just a student, it always begins in the goal, because the goal is a direction. It's a blueprint on what do you want, who do you want to be, and when do you want to achieve it. That's it. I read this book called The Productivity Project. You start with your values, then you write your goals, then you set the intention, then you now implement the action. Now, you cannot have the right intention when you have the wrong goals, and you cannot have the right goals if you have the wrong values. So you must know that the values is something that you aspire to be, something that you really value, something that you really believe in. It's all about your dreams, what is happiness to you, what is success for you. If you know who you are, then more likely you are aiming for the values, not for money, not for the outcome, not for houses, not for any fruit to your labor or hard work. You're not entitled to any of your hard work or effort to a specific result. But, you got to know your values so that you may know your goals. Now, if you're going to set your goals, it's going to be smart, specific, measurable, etc. so forth. After that, then you create intention. We create intention by dividing the goals into milestone, achievable step. Let's say for me, socializing would be talking one day to a stranger or one day to passenger beside me. I just realized that, it was hard to really talk to women, but I did it on a bus, and I can see they really appreciate it. For some, small people don't appreciate that approach, but just like a small percentage or even just an outlier, most people love to talk, and I just realized it. Why? Because of action. Maybe some culture, maybe your environment don't like this or that. It doesn't really matter. What matters is you implement. If you have the right intention, you'll have the right action. If you work without intention, if you do action without intention, you are mindlessly going somewhere else without having destination. Just like traveling, but you do not really know where to start. You go back and forth, ends up you're in the same circle. You're not out of it. So if you want as a freelancer to you go into reality, your dreams into your realities, it starts with goals and then the right potentials. But in this video, let's talk about intentions, know why you're doing this, it's not always about what you do, but why you do it, right? If you have a reason or a purpose that I do this and that so that I can get this, you are focusing on the outcome, not on the enjoyment of it, not because you love it, but because you are wanting to get something, you want to pick something. That happens. That gives you a scarcity mindset. That gives you bad energy where you make goals, you work hard for the specific money or output or admiration and respect for people, and not solely because you love it, because you just love doing it. I don't see the point that why you should, make your life more miserable by those things. I get it. Some people work in a job that they didn't like so that they could provide for the family, but at least they have strong purpose. Why do they do it? They do it because of the family, not because they do it because they hate the job. There's always reason behind it. Find your reason behind it. If you're going to do this and that, how can you create your goals, etc. I'll be bombarding a lot of tips right now. 3 steps on how can you implement or set a powerful intention this year. Next year, 2025 would be number 1, define your values. Number 2, you gotta know your goal based from those values. And then number 3 is you gotta set intention. Then you will take action. That's the thing. If you know how to, set your intention, make it into a reality, it's not just about the imagination, but it's more about the implementation. I've been into this event before. It was like, I think it was Wednesday, so that's 2 days ago. It says that ideas are cheap and execution is goal. So it's more about not just thinking, but also doing what you have to think. You cannot change something without acting on it. So if you're going to have your top 3 goals for the next 2025 as a freelancer, if I'm going to have my top 3, that would be number 1, build my personal skills, technical, soft skills, and everything. Building on my skills and my learning and my knowledge and how to implement it. Number 2 is I'm going to implement the knowledge through getting familiar now with the tools, getting familiar on the dynamics on how can you create content to attract clients or how to communicate with them. And then number 3, you actually get interviews from whether from companies, different clients that you have in it. Practice your speech as fast as possible, and always take notes. Well, what are the mistakes that you've done? Always take time to reflect after every interaction so that you may be able to improve in the next interaction. So first one's learning, second one's learning about tools, implementing what you've learned, and number 3, going to the practicality, talking with clients, getting interviewed, knowing how to ask the right questions, what are the right techniques, because most of the money will go to client communication, the process, then boom, or the freelancer. Or you work for a company and you're a freelancer, boom, you pass the interview, then your experience goes on being practiced until you become really a professional freelancer. Now, lastly, how do you create a vision board? Now, I do not really create a vision board, but more about the writing board where I put motivational quotes, or before I put about images, but they did not really help because for me, it was just about motivational quotes. What I do advise here, I think it's a better way to approach this. If you create your vision board, ask ChatGPT, because to be honest, I'm not really experienced in creating a vision board. But I do know that you can implement AI to get ideas. You get to prompt AI, this is my situation, this and that, this is my dreams, give me ideas on how can I create a vision board. So it's simply about leveraging the tools that we already have and learning from them, not necessarily solely depending on them, but they becoming a assistant to us so that we don't have to think more on these repetitive or odd tasks and think more on the creative stuff. So AI can do the administrative or low-key thinking stuff, but the next one will be you as a human. You create creative stuff, creative stuff beyond AI and beyond people what can imagine it. That's it. That makes your life more easier and more better. If you have any suggestions, just comment down below, and then don't forget to share it with your friends. Goodbye.